All right. I think that we are a go. Let me just get my entire camera ready. All right. I should be on screen now. So, what is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. And today we are going to be taking a special little look at yet another portion of the Eurovision contestants. It is a nice little Wednesday. It's noon, and I am ready to go. So, without further ado, I present to you my ranking of the Big Five and Ukraine. We've already gone over semifinal 1 and 2, and today we're going to be going over the final portion of the contestants, that being Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Ukraine, who have already earned a spot in the finals because they were the winners of last year. And yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Not too drastic. This should be a pretty short stream for today. Although I do have a very special bonus segment for today's stream that I would love to get into. But that will be coming further down the road after we go over all the contestants for the Big Five and Ukraine. Can't forget Ukraine. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to go over all these contestants, since these are the final contestants we'll be talking about. So, how about we just cut the chit chat and get right into it? First up is Zarra with her song Évidemment, and she is going to be representing France in this year's contest. To give you some background, Zarra was born in Montreal as Fatima Zahra Hafdi. I'm assuming that her stage name is based on her middle name. She comes from Francophone Canadian parents from Morocco. Wow. So that's pretty interesting. We have not one, but two Moroccan women in this year's contest, Loreen and Lazara. The diversity is off the charts. So she lived near Linguère throughout her childhood. She released a collab with rapper Nero called Pretemps Blanc in 2016. And she had a single reach platinum status in 2021, Touton Era, that being the title. She was nominated for an NRJ Music Award as Francophone Revelation of the Year. That seems like a pretty high feat to achieve, I gotta say. And after I've gone through a lot of her music, I can say that she has a real elegant sound to her tunes, to her discography. And Évidemment has some real disco elements to it. I love its operatic opener, the bass line drop, it kind of reminds me of Young Blood by 5SOS, or Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, or even Attention by Charlie Puth. So many bass line drops throughout the late 2010s. The descending violin section was also pretty neat, and it also possesses a pretty dark atmosphere. I was surprised by how pessimistic the song lyrics can be. When you translate them into English, it sort of sounds like, even if we are on top of the world, we can't touch the sky with our finger. All these beautiful promises I'm hearing, it's nothing but wind. I'm like, wow, this is some pretty bleak stuff you got going on here, Lazara. It's possibly about failing to get together with a love interest. That's my best estimation of what the song meaning is. It could win It could win a good amount of votes based on her vocals and sophistication. She's not a contestant I'm going gaga over, but who knows? Maybe she'll perform well in the finals. All right, just breezing through it. Next up on the list is Blood and Glitter by Lord of the Lost, a band that is going to be representing Germany. The band initially formed in 2007. The front man is named Chris Harms, and he is called the Lord. He's the Lord in this case. They also saw a bunch of lineup changes throughout their run. Much like Voyager, and they've seen a good amount of success. They've released their debut album Fears in 2010. They've opened for bands Mono Inc. and The Last Instance, who I believe are pretty big. And they also embarked on a crowdfunder tour in 2014, and they ended up surpassing their goal of $10,000, or at least $10,000 in American money. I believe the goal was 12,000, but no, I believe that they reached 12,000. but the initial goal was 10,000. So yeah, that tells you a lot about how much people care about them. And they had their first major European tour, Make Europe Great Again, in 2016. Obvious dig at Donald Trump. Gotta respect them for that. And I know that they were accompanied by the senior choir Heaven Can Wait, which is pretty damn nice. And yeah, after listening to their music quite a bit, I can say that it's very filthy, passionate, and hardcore. Yeah, this stuff is pretty out there. And then there is the song that they're going to be singing in Liverpool, Blood and Glitter, and that has a lot of passion also. And I really appreciate the high pitched keys. Those are an earworm. I think that really stands out for me with this song, and that's courtesy of their member Garrett Heineman. Chris's voice is incredibly heavy and nice. It mainly screams throughout the tune, but it's definitely something that's appreciated, especially for a song that's like leaning towards metal. And it spreads a message about unity and self-expression. Always got to appreciate that. I definitely can't knock those guys for that. Honestly, I have to say that Lord of the Lost is very fun and charming to watch in interviews. I think I saw an interview they did with Weeby Blogs, and they were very charismatic. I think at one point they even tried to interview the interviewer, which was pretty funny. Yeah, they have a great sense of humor, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the contest. I'm certainly hoping that they can score more points than Malik Harris from last year. Oh man, that was pretty embarrassing. I think I remember linking a SpongeBob clip to joke about Germany placing in last when they were competing in Turin, and the clip was, "Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score? 6. And how many do I need to pass? 6. 100. You need 600 to pass. Your final score was 6." Oh man, absolutely no SpongeBob clip is more fitting for that. All right, so next up on the list we have Marco Mengoni. He's singing his song "Du Vite" for Italy. Yes, home of Måneskin. Let's go. He's from Viterbo. He took an interest in music as a young teenager. He enrolled in a music school at 14, began singing in bars and clubs at 16. He moved to Rome to become a sound engineer and programmer at 19. So he has been deeply immersed in the music industry. But at the least he was starting to get his footing. He participated in the X Factor in 2009 and even became a winner of that season, which is incredible. And he immediately signed with Sony Music and got to be part of the artist selection for San Remo Festival in 2010. I remember watching a few of the video footage where he was working his way to the finals for X Factor. And yeah, he definitely had some cool stuff going on. He covered Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin. I think at one point he sang "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman." And it was really cute when he replaced the lyrics with "man" instead of "woman." Very, very touching moment. And he's very handsome, I gotta acknowledge that. To continue on with his music journey, he released various songs and EPs that soon released platinum status and won him several Wind Music Awards. He managed to win San Remo Festival in 2013 with L'Essenziel. L'Essenziel. I'm getting my Italian on it today. I really need to make sure that I pronounce the words correctly. He competed in the Eurovision Song Contest in Malmo, but finished in 7th place with 126 points. I mean, 7th place, not a bad placement. It's in the top 10. And I think that's at least that's the goal that most countries at least want to reach. Even if we don't win, we can at least make it into the top 10. And he's released music exclusively for Spain too. I think there's a few songs here and there that he released exclusively for the country. And to get to the song he has this year, Du Vite is yet another powerful entry from Italy. It has a very dreamlike piano. Its cinematic orchestral section is very admirable. And he's an exceptional singer, I gotta say. And when I saw him perform at the Festival of San Remo this year, it was pretty eye-opening. He was sweaty, he was getting teary-eyed, he was spitting while belting the notes. Like he had all sorts of bodily fluids coming out of him. The dude was wet. Oh man. And to get into the song's meaning, he pleads with his lover to not give up on their relationship, and he will continuously fight for them to stay together and work out the strain between them. And yeah, Marco had to trim down this song quite a bit, so it would be approximately 3 minutes, which I know is a rule that Eurovision typically has. But still, there is no doubt that Italy will finish in the top 10 again this year. Yeah, they always seem to submit some good stuff. But now we shall move on to Blanca Paloma with her song Eaea, and she is going to be the representative for Spain. All right, to give you some background, she was born in Elche, Valencian County as Blanca Paloma Ramos Beza. Very long name. She studied fine arts at the Miguel Hernandez University of Elche and moved to Madrid to pursue a career in theater. She competed in Benidorm Fest in 2022. Last year, became in 5th place. I believe that was the year Chanel won and got to represent Spain in Turin. She released the single Nina de Fuego, which gave notice to the Valencian community. Very cool. And her stage presence tells you she's deeply immersed in theater. Like, I noticed that she constantly does this little thing. I don't know if I can angle this right, but she kind of like does this thing where she's sort of like posing as like an archer. You know, like she has like a bow and arrow and she's like ready to release it. And yeah, I noticed that with her song from last year, and I also noticed it with this year's performance. Speaking of which, Eaea is a song I should have listened to more prior to this live stream. Blanca is an amazingly strong vocalist. The bow and arrow gesture is quite interesting. Again, she does it, here in the performance also. I'm curious to know what that's meant to symbolize, Maybe she's trying to be the Spanish Katniss Everdeen. But there might be more to it. So if anyone could let me know, I would appreciate it. You can also tell that there's a lot of culture wrapped up in this song, a lot of Spanish culture. And it's supposed to be written as a lullaby to a small child. The lyrics are poetic and heavy with meaning, and it's also based on the lullaby Blanca's grandma would sing to her at night, which is probably why she appears on the single cover. You see it right now on the screen, right in the middle of the flag. Yeah, I really like this entry. Again, I wish I familiarized myself with it more before this live stream took place. But Blanca is someone the contest definitely needs to watch out for. She could bring Spain a lot of points when Liverpool hits. And now, time to get onto my boys. Oh. Heart of Steel by Tvorchi, who are going to be representing Ukraine. Yeah, the guys who are the guys who are carrying the torch for this year. These guys formed in Ternopil in 2017. The duo is Andrew Hatsaliak, who is the producer, and Jimo Augustus Kahendi, who is the vocalist. I believe he goes by Jeffrey Kenny. That's his stage name, I believe. So they released their first single, Slow, in May 2017. They came out with their debut album, The Parts, in February of 2018. They released their second album, Disco Lights, a year later, with Believe as the lead single. They reached number 9 on the Google Play charts in Ukraine. They have competed for Eurovision before. They submitted Bonfire to their national selection. That song didn't exactly win, but it became the biggest Ukrainian song in the European Deezer platform, which is pretty damn huge. They won 2 Eaea awards in 2022 and 3 awards the year prior. Yeah, so they are stacked with gold. Yeah, I'm very much into their slick style. They seem like very chill bros. To talk about Heart of Steel, it was an instant favorite of mine. And I remember that Ukraine was the first national selection I saw for this season, and I was very entertained by what I had witnessed. Jeffrey sings with a lot of soul. The organ-like synthesizer is nice and aggressive, creating a stiff tone. And it's a song that wants to show how unbreakable the Ukrainian people are and urge them to stay strong in a trying time. And that is very admirable. I remember Stephanie from last year, where sort of like a rally cry. It was sort of like a war cry, maybe, and it was meant to like show just how like dreadful everything was, but the Ukrainian people were gonna stay strong, and they were seeking comfort from like a mother-like figure, someone to really heal them in a trying time. Heart of Steel feels like it's really trying to like bring the people together, show how tough they are and just how much they can be unfazed. Yeah, I really enjoyed this song. I'm not sure if Ukraine is going to win again, but it wouldn't feel too bad if they did. Tvorchi are just absolutely wonderful. And now, to get on to the final portion of this segment, we have May Muller with her song I Wrote a Song, and she is representing United Kingdom, the host country for this year. She was born in London as Holly May Muller. She attended the Fine Arts College in London. She appeared in the music video for Mika's Grace Kelly when she was 10. I remember Mika hosted the Eurovision Song Contest last year with a few others, so that was pretty cool. She's uploaded songs to SoundCloud, and she got discovered through Instagram. I know that she has worked at some drag bars when she was working in London as a teenager, so we know that she's a pretty strong queer ally, or a pretty strong trans ally for that matter. She came out with her debut album, Chapter 1, in April of 2019. She's also toured with Little Mix, which is really huge, because I know that they are big in England. She scored a hit collab with Naked and Polo G called Better Days. I actually remember that song becoming a hit in America. It peaked at number 23 on the Hot 100, and it finished at number 73 on the year-end list. It peaked at 32 on the UK charts. So it didn't seem like it was too big in the UK, but it was pretty big in America. Yeah. So even before this contest began, I was already pretty familiar with her. She displays an old school aesthetic while infusing some modern elements, at least when it comes to a lot of her music videos. And I Wrote a Song can bring some fun to the finale. It has a groovy tempo, the bass line ties the whole tune together. That might be my favorite aspect of the song. And May showcases some confidence about not being fazed by her ex-lovers. Cheating is living a great life with her friends. So yeah, an independence anthem. That could definitely be something a lot of people can vibe with, something that, a lot of gal pals can sort of groove to. I don't really expect this song to win, but it could put a lot of viewers in a good spirit. So we just talked about the Big Five and Ukraine, but now I think it would be very fun to do a little bonus section, something that I might have not, something I probably won't have time to do next week, but this should be just as fun. All right, so there's May. So right now we are going to be talking about my favorite non-representatives for this year's Eurovision. These are artists that didn't win their national selections, but still left a huge impression on me, and I think would have killed it in Liverpool. So yeah, a lot of these if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know that I rooted for a lot of these artists to win, but they came up short. And yeah, I think it'd be pretty neat to highlight them and sort of encourage other people to sort of give them a listen. So let's get into that. Now to get into the list. So at number 5 is Girls Like You by Robin Pakulin, who competed for Finland. While I'm happy that Karja has cha-cha-cha'd his way to the UK, Robin still had his own special dance moves. The slick 70s tune where he tries to sweep a girl on the dance floor convinces me he is in fact the Justin Bieber of Finland. What really sold his performance for me was his acrobatic skills on the trampoline, like he's an Olympic athlete. As far as songs titled Girls Like You go, it's way better than Maroon 5's. At number 4, we have Kaliskova by Crew, who competed for Ukraine. I remember choosing her as my favorite act, but she came up so short. The visuals sold this performance effectively, not only moving across the stage in the dark with her bandura, but also having the monsters lurk in the background in the misty woods, and a blood-like red suddenly filling the screen. Not bad for a song that's meant to be a lullaby to her son. I'm well aware that she wrongly accused Tvorchi for breaking the contest rules, which puts her a bit lower than I wanted. Still, it's something that really captivated my eyes. At number 3 is Nicholas Sonne, or Son, with the song Freedom, who competed for Denmark. Talk about going retro for a music number. If anything, Nicholas's song reminds me so much of Bon Jovi, specifically their song Have a Nice Day, with its hard rock sound, shredding guitars to bring the house down, and how to aim to take the power back for yourself after years of being conquered. He intentionally writes the lyrics to make them universal for anyone who needs a little encouragement. I was stunned by how well Nicholas could electrify the stage. Even outside of the Eurovision contest, I can imagine he does great at concerts. At number 2 is Tormento by Voodoo Marmalade, who competed for Portugal. Whenever I play Tormento, I find myself entranced in a hypnotic state. It's almost like the band is trying to put the listener at ease while they sing this song about begging for God to release them from so much torment they've been facing. It's most likely the strings that are able to make this tune sound very intricate. I also enjoyed watching them groove on stage and work in unison. Mimi Cat is still mother, of course, but Voodoo Marmalade could have seriously wowed the people of Liverpool. And finally, at number 1 is Ulrike Brandstorp with Honestly, who was competing for Norway. Oh, now this one hurt a lot. I love Alessandra. I'm happy she's going to the semifinals, but why did Ulrika have to come up so close? I could go on about the impeccable vocals, the beautiful setup on the Trondheim stage, how it's a flawless power ballad about holding on to those you cherish and stay with them till the end of time, but this stream would take us a whole day. If I'm being honest, if she got selected for Norway, she would have been my overall pick to win the contest, like no question. I'm hoping Ulrika's time will come. And yeah, that is my list of favorite non-representatives for this year. If I had to give some honorable mentions, it would be Sika Osk for Dancing Lonely, Alicia for New Home, and Annette and Freddie for You Need to Move On. And yeah, so those are my favorite non-representatives for this contest. And now to get to the big moments. Now time to finally give my ranking of the Big Five and Ukraine. I didn't give points this time around since, every single country is already in the finals. But yeah, this is how I rank each contestant. At the bottom of the list is Lord of the Lost with Blood and Glitter. I don't hate the song. I think it's pretty nice. And hopefully they earn a lot more points than Malik Harris did. But yeah, if I were to give an overall ranking, for these artists, Lord of the Lost would probably be at the bottom. At number 5 is Zarra with Évidemment for France. Yeah, it has a nice little disco atmosphere to it, but honestly, it has a lot of elements that I've heard before, and I don't think that France will exactly run away with this one. It might end up pretty low on the finale list. At number 4 is I Wrote a Song by Muller, who is competing for United Kingdom. Again, it's a very fun anthem, and I really like May. I just don't think that this song has what it takes to score big points. But, it's definitely going to connect with a lot of viewers. Number 3 is Blanca Paloma with their song Eaea, Eaea. That is for Spain. I really love its theatrical atmosphere. I love her vocal performance. She sings with a lot of passion. There's clearly so much emotion and, heartfelt energy behind it. Yeah, Spain is going to score big points yet again. At number 2 is Marco Mengoni for Italy with the song Du Vite. Yeah, a lot of emotion he's selling here. The lyrics, tend to be a little bit formulaic, but it's the emotion and the charisma that he sings it with that really sells it. Yeah, he is an absolute Chad, an absolute stud. Yeah, this song is definitely worth the points. And taking my top spot, you already know who it is. Ukraine with Tvorchi, Heart of Steel. Yeah, power to the people. I just love the atmosphere, the energy, the charisma. It's very slick, very heavy with its production. And, of course, considering that the time we're in right now, it's extremely relevant, and I think the Ukrainian people would appreciate it. Yeah, Tvorchi, you guys are absolutely the best out of this whole crop. And yeah, that seems to be everything that we have gone over for today. That is my list of artists who I believe will, or that is my ranking of the Big Five and Ukraine. That's how I believe the entire ranking is going to play out in the finals. It's not going to be that exact ranking. It's going to be a little scattered, of course. But if I were to give a personal ranking for those specific artists, you have it right there on screen. But yeah, that seems to be everything that we've accomplished for today. Hopefully, you guys had fun. And yeah, next week is going to be a real big one. That's going to be my overall ranking for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. All 37 countries are going to be a part of that ranking. And I will finally announce who I think is going to win overall. But yeah, hopefully you guys had fun. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You could follow me on Twitter or on TikTok, and especially YouTube, since this live stream is going to be uploaded to YouTube in case you missed anything. But yeah, I'm going to be signing off here. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope we were able to soak up those drops. Take care.